What's good, y'all? It's your boy ThiccboiGohan, and today we're diving deep into another Bleach breakdown. But before we get into it, I gotta hit y'all with a spoiler warning. We're gonna be talking about some major stuff from both the anime and the manga. So if you're not caught up yet, go watch or read Bleach and then come back when you're ready. Also, if you love Bleach as much as I do, make sure you like this video, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. I really want to hear your thoughts on today's topic. Alright, let's talk about Tier Harribel, the third Espada. She's one of the few Espada that really breaks the mold when it comes to what you expect from an Arrancar. Harribel represents the aspect of death, sacrifice, and not just in some shallow way. Nah, her entire vibe, the way she leads and how she fights, it's all tied to that word, sacrifice. But what makes it even more interesting is how similar she is to Nelliel to Odelschwanck, or Nel for short, the former third Espada. These two are like the queens of Hueco Mundo. Quite literally, they both co-manage and lead Hueco Mundo at the end of the series. And honestly, their presence changes how we view the Espada as a whole. Let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about Harribel herself. She's calm, collected, and powerful. But what really stands out is how she carries herself. Unlike someone like Grimmjow or Niatora, Harribel doesn't choose strength to dominate people. She fights to protect. She leads 3 Fracción, and please I hope I'm pronouncing these names right, but it's going to be Apache, Mila Rose, and Sung Sun, and they're not just backup dancers for her when it comes to battle. They matter to her, like genuinely matter to her. When Aizen attacks Harribel after she questions him, you can see it's not because she was weak, but because she stood for something he didn't, loyalty and care for others. And let's be real, Aizen didn't tolerate that. Clearly, I think he almost came across as annoyed and irritated that she would even act outside of the norm when it came to the Espada. Harribel literally turns on him when she sees how far he's willing to go, even when it risks her own life. That's sacrifice. She doesn't just represent it, she embodies it. Now, what really made me respect Harribel is how she treats her Fracción. They're wild, they're loud, and always bickering, but she never disrespects them. She trusts them to fight their own battles, and she steps in only when necessary. When they were defeated by Head Captain Yamamoto, you can tell that affected her. She wasn't just losing soldiers, she was losing people she saw as family. That emotional connection sets her apart from so many other Espada who see their followers as disposable. Now let's bring in Nelliel, or Nel. Before Harribel was the third Espada, Nel held that spot down. And just like Harribel, Nel valued connection, respect, and mercy. Things most Arrancar wouldn't even bother with. But when she was still a full-grown Espada, Nel had her own Fracción too, Peche and Don de Chaka. And even though they were a bit goofy, she treated them with the same level of care Harribel gives her Fracción. When Niatora attacked her from behind and cracked her mask, she didn't go full revenge mode. Even later, when she regained her adult form and fought Niatora, she still showed him mercy, which honestly, I would have had to catch that fade with him one good time, because the way that him and Xylopro jumped her and played in her face and then tossed her for the win, yeah, once I got my full powers back, I'm running that fade. But getting back to Nel, that speaks volumes. Both Nel and Harribel lead with heart, not ego. So here's where the real comparison hits. Both Nel and Harribel were the third Espada. Both were strong enough to hang with captains, and both had that queen-like energy in Hueco Mundo. But where Nel was more emotional and nurturing, Harribel is reserved, like that quiet storm that's always thinking 10 steps ahead. But they both value connection. They both respect their Fracción, and most importantly, they both believe in using strength to protect, not destroy. That's why Kubo choosing the word sacrifice for both of them makes so much sense. It's not about giving your life away, it's about being willing to put yourself on the line for someone else. And that's what both these women do every time they step into a battle. Now let's talk about the big picture. After Aizen's fall, Harribel actually becomes the ruler of Hueco Mundo. That's wild when you think about it. A woman who values a life in a world built on death and power. She tries to bring stability and order, but of course, that doesn't last long. The Vandenreich show up and she gets captured. And honestly, I really feel like we should have seen that fight between her and Yuhabak. I'm not saying she would have lasted too long or even put up like a crazy fight, but it It was implied that she definitely held her own just a bit, and there had to been a reason why he decided to capture her versus just outright killing her. Maybe it was a symbol, maybe it was to leave a message, but still wanted to see that fight. That was something that we didn't get, it was off-screened. Anyways, getting back to Harribel. But even in her downfall, you can tell, Hueco Mundo was better off with her in charge. She gave the Hollows something they never had before, a leader who cared. And Nel, even after everything that happened to her, she still steps up during the 1,000-Year Blood War arc to help Ichigo and the others. She could have stayed hidden, but she didn't. She sacrificed her safety to do what's right. And if anything, we wouldn't have even gotten Ichigo into Hueco Mundo had Nel not popped up. She said, Ichigo! So, you gotta give her some credit there. So let me ask y'all, who do you think better embodies the aspect of sacrifice, Harribel or Nel? Do you think Hueco Mundo would have been more peaceful if either of them had been in charge longer? And which of their faction did you like more? Apache, Millie Rose, and Sung Sun? Or did you prefer Donachaka and Pesce? Me personally, I felt like Donachaka and Pesce were the funnier duo, but I did like the designs of Apache, Sung Sun, and Millie Rose. They kind of reminded me of almost like a makeshift girl group. I don't know, it kind of reminded me like Destiny's Child. Quick plug here, Kelly Rowland is one of my favorite artists of all time, so if you guys haven't checked her out, check her out. She's got great music, for real. Moving on. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read everything and I love hearing what y'all think. Make sure to like, share this video with your Bleach homies, for real, and hit that subscribe button for more character deep dives. Thanks for watching, and remember, even in a world full of death gods and monsters, the ones who fight for others always stand out the most. Catch y'all next time. Peace.